Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we are sitting down to chat a bit about the things I have got going on. Not in my life, but on my channel. Maybe a bit about my life. And what plans I have upcoming. Because I have this really good overview in my head. Or I think I do have a good overview. And in my head, there is really loud birds outside. Not in my head, but literally, like, can you hear that? Shut up. In my head, I feel like I have said all of this to you and have like these really cool plans, and I feel like I definitely talked about it in like sprints, etc. of upcoming plans of what I want to do with my TBR and etc. But then I thought, well, why not make a video, make it official? This is also for accountability, but also because I personally think it's very fun to hear about other people's plans with their books and like what they're doing and why they're reading what they're reading and upcoming plans, etc. and what is coming. So I thought, since I think it's interesting, maybe someone else will think it's interesting what I am going to do. So what I did last year, it is last year, right? I don't even remember at this point. I made this video called Character Development, Unhaul Project, blah, 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 blah. And then you never heard from me again. I mean, you did hear from me, but not anything to do with that video. And basically what I was telling you in that video, TLDR, is that I always thought that I would keep all my books, and I have now started to go through my collection and I want to unhaul and get rid of things. And I still want to do that, and I feel like I have become better like throughout the year. I cannot remember the date when I posted this video, but throughout the year I have, like, every time I'm in a bookstore, etc., and even like when I had a discount, etc., I was looking at books and I was like, but do I want to own this? Do I think that this book is good enough for me to own? And I've like been misusing my friend's Libby to like be able to read some of these books that I've been considering before buying them. And then I also had this little series on my channel where we have one more episode I haven't posted, but where I did like to buy or buy, where, for example, I read books and then I considered if I was going to buy them or not. This was like to get me going in that kind of thinking instead of just buying everything instantly. Even though it's been hard. It has been hard in the regards that I worked in a bookstore. I'm saying worked past tense. And then I get discount. And then it's just so cheap. Like the little hassle of just like having your book, you know, and then you like can read it whenever. But like, for example, in the library, you need to kind of read it when you get in, or like obviously you can put yourself on hold again, but like you need to read there and then. I'm not a mood reader though, so like for me it's fine to read it and have that deadline to read it. So at the same time it does push you to read a book instead of like, oh, I will read it soon, and you have it on TBR for 10 years. So obviously it is a good things with it as well, but it's also just so easy to just be like, I'm buying this book now and I can read it whatever, you know. It is there for you, available instantly, when you use the library, it might not be available at the time. So when you actually really want to read it, you might need to wait, etc. Obviously there are downsides and upsides of everything you do, but at the same time, for me, that is fine. And I had started to collect books in piles that I said last year I was going to read, and then I now just started on them. I also have a lot of books in my other room, which is my unhaul pile, but I was waiting to film an unhaul until I'd done all those piles in my room and then getting rid of all the books. At this point I should have split it into 2 unhauls because like it's been so long. And I also been reading lots of my TBR, for example, when I did my Furley vlog and I did my Loomcurve vlog. After I posted that video, I read loads of other books on my TBR that like I decided to unhaul. So the plan stands at this moment is that I will read the rest of the books in my piles. I'll just keep looking over at them, they're haunting me. And when I read them, I kind of read the whole series. So like if I don't own the rest, I borrow the rest and I read the whole series done. And then at that point, when I actually finish with all of those, I can then go through my unhaul process, which is like I add them to like a spreadsheet so I remember all the books I owned in case I get depressed one day, and then I can add them all into the other room. Oh, in theory I need to bring them all back in here, then I can film that actual unhaul. At this point I think that unhaul would be for around like 100 books, but I haven't actually counted them over, but it might be more. I am estimating between like 100 to 150 up to 200. It all depends, because what I'm now planning to do, because it's been so long since I actually made a pile, is to go through my shelf again and then look at things I want to get rid of, either I've read before or not, because I am also planning to move at a point, but then I just buy more books, so it doesn't really matter if I unhaul them or not. That is how things stands. So read on my piles, finally can fill that unhaul. I have like plans to give away a lot of my books to my friends as well. and then see what I do with like a lot of special editions, because I decided to also get rid of some of those that were really bad, while before I would never have considered to get rid of a special edition. But now at this point when special editions are not even special anymore, it doesn't feel like a big deal anymore, then go through my shelves again and do the whole process. Obviously, I am vlogging it. I have had now at this point 2 vlogs where I read for my pals and then decided if I'm going to keep them or not. But I'm going to do more like chill dedicated vlogs to it later, because that was for paid challenges, so I was like stressed out the whole time when reading. But I'm going to do more like a book a day, kind of more chill vlog when I come back from my holiday, where I'm going to read more from my pals, but I don't think I will get to all of them even though I'm on holiday. After that, after I'm finished with like going through again my books and like getting rid of them and finally getting them out of my house, I'm going to start on a new project where I'm going to read all the books on my TBR. I talked about this in my like goals for the year, but I can talk about it again. So when I say I'm going to get rid of all the books on my TBR, I'm not going to read my TBR to 0, because I don't want to have 0 books in my house that I never read before. That sounds sad. I want to keep my TBR around 100 books. My logic in this is that I want to be able to say I can complete my TBR in 2 to 3 months, and I can read 100 books in 2 to 3 months. So my point is that if I get it down to 100, my TBR is so little and manageable that like I will never have a book on my TBR again for 7 years. That is my plan. Because at this point, the reason I'm unhauling all of these books is because, well, it's not only because of this, but it's because I had them for so long and I'm not interested in them anymore. And then I read them now and I'm like, no, I don't even like this kind of book anymore. However, there is obviously positives to this, because if I really, really liked them now, then I would not be able to get rid of anything. But at the same time, I feel like you grow a lot. You grow without even thinking about it. I talked about this earlier as well, but I have grown a lot and my interests have shifted. And then if I have my TBR very small, I will make sure that my TBR is within my interest at the time. So like obviously I will read up those 100, but then I will get in new ones. But I want to keep it around 100 because that feels like small and nice, but at the same time I always have a book to read while simultaneously using the library. I want to like really cap it at 100 though, because like if I get one more over 100, it's like no, now you have to read a book in your TBR, so it's still under 100. The only thing I wouldn't count in my TBR is like if I do, for example, a read along. I'm in a lot of read alongs right now. Like I have 4 read alongs, 3 public ones and 1 on Patreon. So I wouldn't count the books, for example, the next books in those read alongs on my like official TBR, since I'm gonna read them soon and that is why I own them. But since I can't read them right now, I wouldn't count them in the 100 books. I don't know how to explain it. I'll probably explain it again later. I have lots of different fun vlogs planned to read my TBR. My TBR is now around 600 books, and then I like have like different ways I'm gonna sort the TBR, and like we're gonna do different types of vlogs surrounding it. So it's gonna be a lot of focus on books I own, but then I simultaneously keep borrowing stuff as well. I think make me not buy a whole series before I started it, because like now I have a lot of like whole series that I have bought, but I haven't like even started it or completed them. But I feel like this would prompt me to like, if I know maybe I want a series a lot, I will buy 1 copy of the first book and then read it soon, because like my TBR is so small, and then since the sequel is probably not out yet, hopefully this is my wishful thinking, I would know if I want to read the rest or like if I just want to borrow the rest, etc. Even though I'm avoiding also trying to not buy books in a series I'm unsure about, unless it's like a subscription or something. But my whole point is that obviously, even though my TBR is small, I can just choose to never read one of the books on my TBR and I can still have it for 10 years. My whole logic is that I will be so good to myself and I won't do that, because obviously I can just read the other 99 books on my TBR and never read that one. And then I will have it for 15 years and still not read it. But I feel like it would be very good. I feel like it would be a fun process. Some example of the vlogs I want to do for my whole TBR. So like I have everything logged. Alright, I'm not insane. And for example, in the log system I use Libib. I can, for example, sort it through years. So then we could like randomize one publishing year. I feel like some of those years are scarier than others, because there are some years obviously I bought a lot more frequent new releases within that year or not. So for example, we got 2015, I would read all the books on my TBR that was released in 2015. We can also randomize it by author, so I thought that we can randomize the letters in the alphabet. And obviously some letters you have so many books by certain authors and some letters you won't. That will also prompt me to needing to read all the books by that author in one go, for example. And that is just like 2 ideas. Also thought we could randomize some, like we really pick random books. It all depends. But I am giving myself by the end of 2026, so I'm not going to finish this in 2025. I'm not going to read 500 books since it is 600, maybe take minus 500 for the rest of the year. That would be insane. But I'm giving my end of 2026. I feel like I can make that because in my head it's not that much. But I am also starting my full-time job, which I haven't had before, and I feel like in my head that makes me have less time to read. And I don't know why I think that, because I used to have 2 jobs and a thesis and everything else. So now I only have 1 job and reading / YouTube. Like there's 2 things now in my hands, and I used to have 4 things in my hands, but for some reason I think that I will have less time. But we shall honestly see how it goes. I don't know how exhausting the job will be yet. I haven't started yet as I'm filming this, whenever this comes up. But that is my general plans. Right now I'm more excited to read down my TBR than I am to get rid of those piles, but I feel like I need to get rid of the piles to be able to focus on the TBR. And the piles, I was gonna say the piles are part of my TBR, but they're not, because I never added them to my official TBR when I made the system, because I was going to read them sooner and get rid of them, and now it's been 1.5 years. So, is this interesting? I don't know. So, general gist, again, is read books in piles, get rid of books in piles, go through my like shelves again to get rid of more books before I get rid of. Those steps should be in each other, and then starting my TBR. I'm gonna try to not borrow. There's so many new interesting books that like I want to read, like really like shady ones as well. And I would say I don't own like things on Kindle Unlimited, etc. Now I would just have that and not use it. But I think that sometimes in between all my terrible TBR reading, I have this thing where I want to, if I want to read like things I don't own, I can do like 1 theme vlog for that for like a week, and I go back to the TBR at least. So like, I can have like breaks in a way. I feel like that will be nice as well. End of 2026, 100 books on my TBR, and I also think that the process will be fun, because obviously if I don't want to read a book there and then, I need to be like, okay, then that is one of the 100, but then later I might maybe want other books there, so I need to like switch around and like think smart of which 100 I want to save. I feel like it's going to be a little adventure. I will probably find a lot of books I want to get rid of in those vlogs as well. But I'm not going to wait for another big unhaul. I swear to you, I'm looking at another big piles of books in front of me that I decided to get rid of. And it's a whole process for me, because I'm just like, but do I want to get rid of it? I'm like, I didn't like it. You don't want it, Sandra. It's really hard. Big unhaul coming. I just need to read those piles done, go to my shelves, and then we will start new projects of, I can't even call it TBR down to 0, because it's not going to be TBR down to 0, but I don't think TBR down to 100 sounds as cool. Maybe reading all of my 600 own TBR, I don't know. You have a cool name. I don't know. But I feel like it will be good for me, and it will make me feel less of a hoarder, even though I will always be a hoarder. I've been buying a lot of books still though, so I am in trouble. Even though I feel like I've become better, I'm still buying a lot. But mostly what I buy like the most of, I feel like lately, is, if you look away from the panic buying I had when I had to quit the bookstore, it's manga. And manga I don't have on my TBR, because they have like their own system in my system. So like, at least they don't count in the TBR numbers. That is good. But I was gonna say, oh, it'll be less hauling, but it won't. Let's be real. So hopefully I would just buy things I already read and we don't increase the TBR too much. But this last month has been, I increased my books, I think, with over like, I feel like it was like 40 books or something, after being like very even for a long time. So, okay. Well, I hope you are excited, and I hope it made sense what I talked about. I think it was just fun to talk about some upcoming plans and like my status on what I made a video about a year ago. So I have started, I have posted some already of getting rid of the piles, and we shall continue to do so until I have a clean slate. Also, when I give myself now the deadline of 2026, I'm very stressed inside. I feel like I won't feel free until I finished this project. I would feel like I can do other things. No, I feel like it will be fine, and I feel like if I need to do some of 2027 on it, it is also fine. But also, I could finish early. Who knows? But you shall see what is coming next. Thank you so much for watching this. Leave I don't even know, a single emoji that will fit for this video. Are we excited? Are we sad? Are we happy? Are we depressed? I don't know. I'm questioning all my life decisions, honestly. Leave a thumbs up emoji down below. If you enjoyed this, you should see me soon in a new one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!